Morning all, hello. It's chilly. We're in the Austrian Alps. As you guys maybe saw yesterday, we've been having quite the adventure with Mercedes. I've got a little bit of a cold because this happened. Right, now it's kind of like a spray and parade. If you see behind you, there are a few Mercedes GLE coupes. I presume it's the grey one because I think we've got an AMG today. But you get handed, yes it is, you get handed a key and then you kind of just walk out to a car park of Mercedes. Quite a few of them have left. And then you find out which one is yours. So what spec have we got on this? You kind of discover the spec of the car you've got. So yeah, really nice. This is the 53 AMG, obviously turbo 4MATIC. This one's a nice spec, grey, silver wheels. What else is there? Oh, this is interesting. We've got wood inside, obviously the Burmeister, brown leather, but then there's also Alcantara. This is an interesting one. Black with black Alcantara and brown leather center with wood. Very cool. Anyways, we're gonna pack the car up now. Benny, who's in the car with us, is not feeling great, so we have to go wake him up, pack this car up, and then drive. Today should be incredible. I mean, look at the views around us. We're in a ski resort right now. Everyone's kind of hitting the slopes. When I say everyone, I've seen 2 people so far. But yeah, it's absolutely stunning. So I think today is going to be a really, really fun day.
Good morning.
I have such a headache.
First things first, heated seat all the way on. What's R? Do you know what that is?
No.
Not a clue. Okay, heating's way on. Drive, look, AMG, it's really cool. The display is all AMG. I'm in sport mode, surprisingly. Oh, look, we got visitors. Hello, excuse me, coming through. Hi. All right, let's go. Whoa, the head-up display. That's gonna be basically impossible to show you, but it's very cool. Right, this car's quite large, but when you're on the small roads and you get going for it, it feels like it wraps around you. First thing you notice, actually, is that the steering wheel's different. The steering wheel's much more sporty. So obviously there's the displays and the steering wheel that change, and the noise, which you can't hear because we've got the heating on so strong. You won't be able to hear it, but it sounds pretty good actually. But yeah, I'm gonna sort of get to know the car a little bit better, and then we'll chat about it. Our first stop's in like no time, so pretty easy. Right, park up, handbrake on. It's not, I don't know why they call it a handbrake, it's more of a finger brake these days. It's true. First step of the day is a briefing. Briefing of the plan for today, safety instructions, driving instructions, and a little bit of an update on the cars. So, that's the first step. Things have escalated rather quickly. Look in front of us. There is purely snow and ice on the road. It's pretty intense. Oh God, we got the sunroof closing as well at the same time. But it's actually mind-boggling how, and I don't want to speak too soon or tempt fate, but how honestly smooth and easy it is to drive under these conditions. Obviously, you leave massive braking distances, and you don't want to come in too hot to the corners because you can understeer quite a bit. But driving like this, we're on some proper winter tires. The car is handling it really nicely. I'm in no form of off-road mode. I'm literally just in comfort mode, driving uphill on a road completely covered in snow and ice. So this is pretty insane, and actually fills me full of confidence for the rest of this trip, because I was a bit like, this may be a bit sketch, but with the views we've got in front of us, I've got my heated seat, so my bum's really nice and warm, in case you guys were wondering. Now you know. The car's definitely got more traction than me. The 4MATIC system, super impressive the way it adjusts the grip that it gives to the front or the back, depending on whether you're understeering or oversteering. But let's talk design a little bit. It's got a little bit of a nip tuck on the is that what you call it? A nip tuck?
What do you call that?
A nip tuck. on the front lights. Massive Pan America grille, but where it obviously gets, you know, completely new is here around the back. It's got a new hatchback, new lights, and this one, because it's the 53 AMG, obviously has the quad tailpipes. Now 429 horsepower, 6-cylinder, 9-speed double clutch gearbox, and you've also got a little electric generator which can give you 21 extra horsepower for very short periods of time. Now, if you can't tell, I am absolutely freezing, but this may be one of the last times we drive on snow during this trip, and we've certainly got quite enough of that. I mean, look at the scenery behind us. That's usually a road, and we were meant to drive up there. There's usually a road that goes all the way through there, but obviously that's not going to happen today. So yeah, anyways, let's hop back into the car, stop freezing our asses off, and continue the drive. Goodbye. Right guys, you joined me. You're in the back of another GLE, and I'm obviously, as you can see, cruising in the 53 AMG on the snow. But right now we are heading back towards Innsbruck, Austria. Not sure if there will be snow on the road there, but eventually we're actually going to head all the way into Italy, which should be pretty good fun. I hope the camera's not too shaky for you guys, but it's time to probably, I imagine, test this car on the motorway. But before that, we're still getting out of the mountains, so therefore we're on some little alpine roads, which I thought would be the perfect opportunity, seeing as we're in the AMG today, to test this car out a little bit. It's got a 918 inspired little circle knob thing here that you can turn. So right now we're in comfort, but you can turn that, put it in sport, but we're going to go all the way into sport plus. You've also got buttons here where you can adjust the suspension, so you can have the car in Sports Plus, the engine and gearbox in Sports Plus, but put the suspension in comfort. We're going to leave it in Sports Plus, or you can open and close the exhaust. Down here, you press this button and that puts you into manual mode. You've also got the traction control button. You've got buttons to raise the level of the car if you're off-roading. The suspension button again and the exhaust button again. Now, these paddles link you to that 9-speed. I remember when 7-speed gearboxes came out and everyone was like, this is too much. Now we've got 9-speed, but perfect for fuel consumption on the motorway. Double clutch gearbox, which, as you can imagine, modern era double clutch gearbox, pretty instantaneous. And then you got 429 horsepower, straight linked to your right foot. The car actually feels like it brakes pretty well as well. We haven't really been able to test it. Obviously quite heavy. I mean, it's no Lotus, this car, but for something that was cruising on snow and ice so easily, and I imagine when we go onto the motorway we'll be incredibly comfortable as well, just from what we've been seeing. I mean, I've got a heated seat on, and there's even a heated armrest. This bit here is all heated, so that when you put your arm on it, it's really nice. And it's got some go. I mean, 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. That's pretty quick for a car of this size. It sounds good, 6-cylinder sound. Obviously, I imagine it's a slightly artificial sound. It's not fully all coming from the engine. I mean, look, there's a tunnel in front of us now. Speaking of sounds, let's do this. Poor Benny's feeling a bit ill in the back, so I hope he's okay. Right, let's see. It gives it some little pops as well. Yeah, I mean, again, it's no straight pipe Aventador, but it's nice and it's fun, and the interior is really nice. I mean, little details like the fact that the center of the steering wheel here is leather with the stitching like that is just really nice, because so many cars will have sort of a plastic finish to the center airbag here, and it makes such a, I don't know, it's something, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it really makes a difference. I mean, on the R8, that's something I would love to change, as we spoke about in a video, but that's really nice. And the steering wheel is just really nice to the hand. It grips really nicely, and that sort of adds a nice character to it. I'm not too sure about the wood in this spec, to be perfectly honest with you, but overall this car just does feel like an AMG, even though it's not the 63. Definitely feels like an AMG product through the finish on the steering wheel. And just the way it behaves, it's got this split character which these AMGs have. And honestly, we're not paid to be on this trip. We were just invited over to test the car and say what we want to say. But I feel like AMG are doing really good products at the moment that have this really split. What?
Sorry, it's just the place is called Winkle.
This place is called Winkle. It's quite funny. No, but I was saying AMG, they're just. I feel like they're really on the top of their game at the moment. I mean, the interiors, I think, are really nicely designed, really pretty, but also so intuitive. I really like what they're doing, and these new digital dashes that they've got are brilliant as well. And the head-up display, as we said earlier, but it's very hard for you guys to see and to get that on camera. But it's really nice, simple, and I know exactly what I'm doing with the car. The body roll is quite nice. It's got this really smart air suspension. It's when you're cruising on bumpy roads, it's kind of derived or, you know, similar-ish system to what you have on a Bentayga. So it's very comfortable. Oh, Cullinan, what a baller. That was pretty cool. But then when you put it in sport mode like this, it means that the body roll through the corners is pretty good. I mean, you know, it's, as I said, it's no Lotus, but you feel like you can chuck it around a fair amount. It's quite communicative. Obviously, modern era cars, through the steering, you don't know quite as much of what's going on compared to older cars. But no, I mean, they've done a good job. It makes you really want to try out the 63 as well, when that comes out with the V8. But this is definitely much more exciting, obviously, than the diesel, and you get that AMG feel through the design, through the interior, and through the pops on the exhaust. But yeah, I think I'm gonna put it back into auto and comfort modes there. Everything switches off, and now let's cruise. So now we've tested it on snow and ice. We know it's good there. We've tested it on the Alpine roads. We know it's good on those. Now let's see, you know, fuel consumption. You know, obviously there's a few things which are not quite as convenient on this compared to the normal GLE. Like the boot is quite a lot smaller. Car's a little bit shorter. Personally, I don't really mind. Depends what sort of lifestyle you're living. But yeah, now let's cruise on the motorway, see if this 53 AMG is actually usable and, you know, has good consumption, because that's where it really becomes an interesting package, because you don't have the sort of extremity of the V8. But you still get the design and everything of the AMG, so that's when this car becomes really interesting. Anyways, look how beautiful it is around us. Let's just cruise and we'll check back in a bit. It's time to wake Benny up. Benny?
What are you doing?
Oh. What did you do? Okay, we can do the outro. I'm having a poke around your room because you've got a very nice room. Look at your shower. It's a pretty badass shower. But these are always, when there's nothing you can close, the water's always gonna, no, anyway, this is not interesting for the vlog. I've got basically the same room. Look, it's very nice. Bit of a funky bed. Completely unsure on what's going on with that chair. Looks like just a hand that's there to cup you, isn't it? You've got a nice balcony, but then for some reason do you have a child I don't know of? Anyways, guys, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Really good times in the GLE 53 AMG. Tomorrow, we're going to Italy. I think we're going towards Lake Garda. I'm not entirely sure on the program, but apparently it's going to be absolutely stunning. Again, another day on the road, and I think we maybe even take a different car. So thank you for watching this. Hope you really enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you aren't already, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Cheers. Bye-bye.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, Christ. Bye-bye.